Hello there. Today's video is on horror animes, which are not that popular but worthy to watch. So without wasting time, let's begin. 7 Seeds. In the immediate future, a giant meteorite has collided with Earth. All living organisms, including mankind, have been wiped off the face of the planet. The government, who had foreseen this outcome, took measures to counter the worst-case scenario. In particular was Project 7 Seeds, in which 5 sets of 7 young men and women were carefully selected and placed into teams: Spring, Summer A, Summer B, Autumn and Winter. Each participant was then put under cryogenic sleep in hopes of preserving the continued existence of mankind. When those men and women awoke, they found themselves suddenly thrust into a cruel world. While bereft and grieved over forever losing their loved ones, they sought to find ways to survive. Cabaneri of the Iron Fortress. The world is in the midst of the Industrial Revolution when horrific creatures emerge from a mysterious virus, ripping through the flesh of humans to sat their never-ending appetite. The only way to kill these beings, known as Kabani, is by destroying their steel-coated hearts. However, if bitten by one of these monsters, the victim is doomed to a fate worse than death, as the fallen rise once more to join the ranks of their fellow undead. Only the most fortified of civilizations have survived this turmoil, as is the case with the island of Hinomoto, where mankind has created a massive wall to protect themselves from the endless hordes of Kabani. The only way into these giant fortresses is via heavily armored trains, which are serviced and built by young men such as Ikoma. Having created a deadly weapon that he believes will easily pierce through the hearts of Kabani, Ikoma eagerly awaits the day when he will be able to fight using his new invention. Little does he know, however, that his chance will come much sooner than he expected. Mononoke. The medicine seller is a deadly and mysterious master of the occult who travels across feudal Japan in search of malevolent spirits called Mononoke to slay. When he locates one of these spirits, he cannot simply kill it, he must first learn its form, its truth, and its reason in order to wield the mighty exorcism sword and fight against it. He must begin his strange exorcisms with intense psychological analysis and careful investigative work, an extremely dangerous step, as he must first confront and learn about the Mononoke before he even has the means to defeat it. The medicine seller's journey leads him to an old-fashioned inn where Shino, a pregnant woman, has finally found a place to rest. The owner has reluctantly placed her in the last vacant room, however, as she settles in, it quickly becomes clear that the room is infested by a lethal band of Mononoke, the Zashiki Warashi. With his hunter's intuition, the medicine seller begins his investigation to discover the form, the truth, and the reason before the Zashiki Warashi can kill again. Ukami Kikushi. The story follows Hiroshi Kuzumi, a 16-year-old student who has just moved to the seemingly serene village of Jogamaki. Nestled in the mountains far away from the city, the village is divided by a river that separates Old Jogamaki from New Jogamaki. Young Hiroshi soon discovers that the village is ancient as well as mysterious traditions and customs have been kept alive over the ages. Although a bit bewildered by the new environment, Hiroshi begins to settle into his new life. While he has never been the type to win any popularity contests, he quickly earns the affection of his classmates. That is with the exception of aloof class president, Nemiru Kushinada, whose only words to Hiroshi are a warning to stay away from old part of town. It is there that terror and mystery await him. Shiki. 15-year-old Megumi Shimizu dreamed of a glamorous life in the big city, however, her unexpected death in the quiet village of Sotoba marks the beginning of what appears to be a ferocious epidemic that turns the hot summer into a season of blood and terror. A young doctor named Toshio Ozaki begins to doubt the nature of the disease and comes to understand that to discover the truth, he must abandon his humanity. Meanwhile, Natsuno Yuki, an antisocial youth from the city, is haunted by the sudden death of Megumi and must realize the pain of friendship in the face of his own tragedy. Toshio and Natsuno form an unlikely pair as they work together to save Sotoba before it transforms into a ghost town of vampires. Shiki, adapted from the horror novel written by Fuyumi Ono, goes beyond the average vampire story. It tells the tragic tale of survival in a world where one cannot easily distinguish between good and evil. Abandoned by God, the Shiki, as the vampires call themselves, have only their will to live as they clash with the fear of the paranoid, unbelieving villagers. Shiki explores the boundary that separates man from monster.